You don't need more money, you need financial discipline. Financial discipline is the act of managing your finances responsibly and consistently. This means that you are setting and tracking your financial goals, maintaining a budget, you're saving, investing, and really just avoiding all unnecessary expenses. It's these not so sexy things that build lasting wealth. If you lack financial discipline, then making more money won't help you. There are six-figure earners barely getting by and millionaires going bankrupt. The amount of money you make is irrelevant if you lack the financial discipline to actually manage it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Profit Pulse, where we make money simple, smart, and stress-free. Today we're diving into the real secret behind every financial success story: financial discipline. It's not about how much you make, it's about how consistently you manage what you have. Discipline is what turns goals into results, small habits into big wins, and money stress into money control. In this video, we're breaking down what financial discipline really looks like, how to build it, and how to stay consistent even when life gets busy or tempting. Let's lock in and build the habits that build wealth.
Here are my 3 biggest tips for staying financially disciplined as a 26-year-old who's on track to retire in my 40s. And it's not from having made a ton of money. In fact, I have never made a 6-figure salary until literally 2 months ago, but it's from being ultra financially disciplined. So here's how I stay locked in. Number 1, you need to have a financial goal that you are so passionate and excited about achieving. This will make it so much more motivating versus just saving to save because it's what you think you have to do. Once you have that financial goal in mind, I want you to think about it every day. Write it on a Post-it note, put it on your fridge and your bathroom. But the more you think about it, the more you're going to want it. For me, that goal is achieving financial independence by my 40s. It's certainly a lofty goal, which requires lofty discipline, but I think about it every day and I envision what my life will be like once I achieved it. So at this point, it's really made financial discipline second nature to me. Number 2, I've gotten very good at interrogating literally every purchase I make and asking myself, why do I want it? Do I need it? What purpose is this purchase fulfilling? You would be surprised at how many things you buy, not really for yourself, but for other people, and how you think you're going to be perceived or how you want people to view you with that item. And I just don't really care anymore about looking rich. I would rather just focus on being rich. As I've been on this journey of financial independence, I've really come to grasp that the more I buy, the longer I have to work, which seems like such a basic concept, but it's easy to overlook because we don't always associate money with time. Like, you're not only giving up money to buy that object, but you're giving up your time that you had to work to get the money to buy the thing. So by understanding that connection crystal clear, it's really taken away the allure of wanting to buy a new shiny thing. My last tip is more of a practical tip than a mindset tip, but that is to make it as hard as possible for you to shop. For me, that means not having Amazon Prime, not having DoorDash, Uber Eats, not having any saved cards on my phone, scrolling past any videos that involve a TikTok shop or someone promoting something. I guarantee for most people, if they can just cut out their impulse shopping, they will see a huge difference in their overall spending.
To gain financial discipline. So for me, what I really had to do was think about, what do I value with money? And that's what I want you to do, is take a second right now, write down 3 things that you value with your money. So for me, travel, I would say time with family and friends. So making the effort to go there, to drive there, to go to dinner with them, and then close friends events. Not like distance friends that I've talked to them twice since college. Like close friends, I'll do stuff for and I'll put the effort in. But if you go and look at what you value with your money, that's what's really going to be the game changer when it comes to financial discipline. So here's what you're going to do. Once you have your 3 values, then you're going to go and track your spending for the last 3 months. And you're going to go put them into different categories: your wants, needs, and your savings. And then you're going to go through and be like, where can I cut these subscriptions or getting your nails to eating out? What can I cut back because it's something that I don't truly value? And then when you go to make your budget, which you can look at my budget tracker, if you go to my Stand store, I have a free budget planner. You can go through that and get to see where exactly your money is going. And once you realize where your money is going, it becomes a lot easier to be able to have financial discipline, because you're like, oh, I don't need to go out with those people. Like, I'm saving for this trip, or I'm saving for this, or whatever you are saving for or putting your money towards. that is where you're going to have financial discipline, because it becomes a little bit easier to be like saying no to things because you're like, I want to put more money towards this. Then after a while you get used to it and it just becomes a little easier as time goes on. Next thing you're going to do to make your discipline very easy is to set up automatic investments and automatic savings. So setting up your bank account where your direct deposit goes right to your checking account. Mine also goes right to my high yield savings account where I can have savings buckets. So for SoFi Bank, which is about 3.8% for the high yield savings, I can make different categories of things I want to put into. So for me, travel is something that I value. So percentage of my paycheck will go towards that sinking fund. And that makes it easier to have discipline, because I'm like, this person will text me do something. I don't feel bad saying no anymore, because I'm like, no, I'm saving for this trip, or I'm saving for whatever it may be. I have more financial discipline because I truly worry about what I'm valuing with my money versus anything else. So hopefully that works for you. You will have financial discipline if you follow those few steps.
Great life lesson my dad instilled in me is that periodically in your life, you have to sit the fuck down and get right. Outside, all of those activities, they will always be there. A lot of people have that FOMO mentality of like, oh, if I stay inside for one weekend, God forbid 2 weekends, I'm going to miss so much. I promise you, you could stay inside for 7 months and get right back on the scene, and it's still the same shit. I remember 4 years ago, for about a month and a half, all I did was eat at home. Lunch meat, chicken, rice, all of that shit, did not eat out at all, no weekends. Calculated it, I saved around $800 just by not bullshitting outside for fast food and restaurants. I've touched a lot of money in my 20s, fucked up a lot of money, made it all back times 5, damn near times 10, right? It actually is very enjoyable when you buckle the fuck down, especially as you get into your mid to late 20s, and really take control over your finances and get your shit in order. Everything is relative for the individual, so the numbers don't matter, right? I might have a goal to stack $5,000 a month. Your goal might to be $300, right? But over time, that shit compounds. You save $300 for 7 months, you got an extra $2,000, right? $2,100 to be exact. Sometimes you have to cut out shit, right? If I spend $2,000 a month on going out, alcohol, restaurants, fine dining, take 2 months, I'm using myself as an example, to not do that, I have an extra $4,000 to really get busy with, play with, splurge a little bit maybe on myself, reinvest into my home, reinvest into my family. Feel what I'm saying? You're about to go to Q4, I promise you. As it gets to the colder months, I don't know where you're at, I'm in Chicago. It is definitely okay to sit the fuck on the couch, put on a movie, make a little meal, reduce some of your spending. God damn it, we're in a recession.
So the other day I unexpectedly came into a little bit of money, $825 to be exact, and I was just thinking about how much my thought process has changed when it comes to my relationship with money and what I think when I see money. So me 5 years ago would have been like, oh my God, $825, like that's free money, and I have this in my shopping cart, and I want this from Amazon, and I want this from Sephora, and that money would have been gone. Me now is like, wow, $825 I wasn't expecting. That's $400 for my high yield savings, $400 for my Roth IRA, and then $25 I can get like 3 matchas, because the matcha place that I go to, the matchas are like literally $8. And I'm not someone who budgets myself to death like that, but that's where my brain is at. Also, I made this matcha at home. I'm really perfecting my recipe.
Coming from a former lazy girl, okay, the only way I actually started to have discipline and be consistent is when I finally realized how you do one thing is how you do everything. I used to waste every single day of my life scrolling for hours, procrastinating my responsibilities, just like avoiding even like the smallest tasks. And I just felt so stuck, so unmotivated, so depressed. And then when I finally realized that how I handled the little things, like setting my alarm, actually waking up to it instead of snoozing it 10 times in a row, making my bed in the morning, going to work out instead of putting it off to the next day. All these things that seem really small, they actually really add up to set the tone for how you do literally anything else in life. By the way, I'm Lena. Welcome to Anti-Brain Rot, where I share with you how to stop wasting your life and actually start living it. So if you're not already following your girl, what are you doing? Okay, what are you doing? Go follow your girl right now. Like those small habits, no matter how tiny, they really shape your entire life. And when I finally locked in and started being consistent with those small habits, then I started being consistent with the really big things in my life, like my dream of becoming a YouTuber. I would post every single week. When you're consistent with those small, tiny habits, you start to gain trust in yourself that you can actually handle the bigger things. So here's your sign to lock in and start paying attention to those little habits and start showing up for yourself in those little ways. And I promise you, you will see your life transform. hope this helped, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.
I'm gonna hold your crotch when I say this, but nothing in this world is unrealistic if other people have it, but you're not gonna be able to achieve those things unless you're feeling your best. So I'm gonna teach you how to get your spark back. Starting off with number one, you have to be okay with doing things alone, because life and opportunities are not gonna always wait for your friends and family to be ready. And by you putting yourself out there, you are positioning yourself to make new friends, make new memories, make more money. And I promise you, by whatever you do outside, you are going to have more opportunities than you being inside in your bed. Next up, I have take people off a pedestal, and by that I mean stop idolizing influencers, celebrities, and athletes, because they are just humans like you and I living life for the first time on this floating rock. They are just within a different chapter within their own story, so stop comparing your chapter to theirs and focus on you. On a similar note, I found that nearly every successful person I met has these two attributes, and they are patience and gratitude, and I think more of the world needs to hone in on those two traits, because life really is a long game, and no matter what your goal is, you're not going to get it overnight, but if you stop now, you're never going to get it. And it is always okay to want more, but you need to be grateful for the shit that you already have. Next up, stop using AI for every little thing. Stop training the very thing that is trying to replace you. And I get it, you have to move with the times, you have to adapt. I get it, I use ChatGPT from time to time, but I am seeing a massive wave of teenagers and young adults who can barely write an email, who can barely think for themselves because all they do is use AI. Especially while you're young, you should strive to be the best looking, the most intelligent, the most versatile, and the most eloquent version of yourself. Oh, and coming from someone that was once extremely overweight, how you look plays a big role in how you feel. So hit the gym and get some clothes you actually like. Peace.
I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, but you're going to be stuck in the same financial place that you always have been unless you learn some financial discipline. This is the difference between just making goals versus actually being able to hit them. Before we get into this, please understand that it doesn't happen overnight. You don't just become financially disciplined overnight, especially if you have never been that. And you will not be perfect along this journey, and that is totally okay. Let go of perfectionism, let go of judging yourself, because as long as you are showing up and trying, even though you make mistakes, you continue trying, you are going to reach your goals. There's a million ways that you can kind of embody financial discipline, but here's a few. Sticking to a budgeting routine, meaning that every single month you sit down and you actually budget out your money. And if it changes, cool, but at least you stuck to your routine and created the budget. Saying no sometimes to yourself and to others. Making goals and consistently working towards them. Looking at your numbers instead of hiding from them. Experimenting and testing to see what works for you, which, by the way, this here is non-negotiable. You're going to have to experiment. You're going to have to test and see what works for you. That's part of the process, and that's what brings you closer to where you want to be, because you find out what works for you, and every single person is different. Financial discipline is an act of self-love and self-respect, because you are actually making plans, sticking to them, and planning for your future, which future you, who is a real person, by the way, really appreciates. If you're starting at the very beginning and you have never actually been disciplined before, or you have a problem saying no, or whatever the case may be, just know that you can start simple. Start at the beginning. Start with one thing that you know you can hold yourself to month over month, and just focus on doing that one thing. Like I said, this is an experiment, and you're going to have to try things out and see what works. Take it from someone who started at the bottom and is now out on the other side of financial stability. It is way better on this side, and all of the work that you do consistently to show up for yourself, to be disciplined, to hit your goals, it is worth it. If you need help getting started, go look at the link at the top of my page. I have free resources in there. I have things like budgeting worksheets, debt calculators. I even have a 30-day money reset program called Her Money Mastery Academy, if that is what you're looking for. The point is, I just want you to do something. Start somewhere and start being consistent with at least one thing. You're going to be surprised at what it does for you. You got this, friend.
Me and my husband live off of 50% of our monthly income, and we save the additional 50%. And we have money goals that we're allocating that money, right? It's not just sitting there. It has its purpose. This is how I've gotten to this place, because it's a mental headspace that you need to be in to be able to just save your money and not spend it. The first thing that we rely heavily on is gratitude, because all we really need is a roof over our head, food, and water. Like, if I go about my day knowing I have a roof over my head, I have food, and I have water, like, I am so immensely blessed by that. I don't need anything else. Like, I seriously don't need clothes, shoes, anything else, because I already have everything I need. Social media, I scroll, I love outfits, all the things. But then I think thoroughly, and these influencers aren't dressing like this every single day. And if they do, it's because they have somewhere to be. And if they do, it's because they're going to take pictures to post it. So it doesn't make sense for me to want those same things. Lastly, this is the life I always dreamed of having. I dreamed of a car. I dreamed of living with my husband and making food at home and sitting on the couch and watching movies. Like, I dreamed of all that, and now I get to live it. off of 50% of our income. Like, what a blessing that is. It just works. It seriously is the best thing ever, and I recommend always. Whoa.
If I wanted to be more disciplined around my finances and manage my money God's way, this is what I would do. I will say first, there are a few obvious things that I would do. We're always hearing about, right? Like have a budget, have a plan for your money so you're not just spending whatever you think you should be spending. Have all your money set aside for your bills, your grocery budget. With your grocery budget, if you are not shopping your pantry first, shop your pantry first, okay? I have a video on that I did showing you exactly how I do that. You'd be surprised how much money you'd save, how many meals you can make up with things that you already have that you didn't end up using the week before. So in your budget, a lot of you guys said some of you are addicted to shopping, buying food. That's a big one for a lot of us. You can still do those things within your budget. The whole point of a budget, I feel like people think that a budget is meant to trap you. It's actually meant to give you freedom with your money. It lets you feel in charge of what you're doing with your money. If you love to shop, that's great. If you love to get all these other things and have fun, that's great. That's why you have fun money set aside within your budget. Tight on money right now, and that can only be $5 to $10. That's gonna seem small right now, and you're gonna be frustrated about that. But this is what's gonna help you be more disciplined. You can't just have everything you want whenever you want. You know what I mean? You have to stick within your means. If that's $5 or $10 at first, get your coffee, get your energy drink, wait to go out with a friend to go get coffee with her. So you can still enjoy that social time within your budget. If you have to say no when people ask you to do things that cost money and you can't go without buying anything, say no. Say no. I know that sucks sometimes. I know people love to say life is short, just do what makes you happy. That's a lie. Okay? That is a lie. Life is definitely short. You cannot trust your feelings though. You cannot live your life based off of your feelings because our feelings lie to us. Yes, we want to be happy, but we can't always have everything we want whenever we want. Or else we wouldn't have any discipline. Or suggest doing free things. If they can't do that, are they really even your friends? If they know you're trying to save money. Next thing I would do is get out of debt. This is biblical, okay? God wants us to get out of debt. Verse in the video, but it's something along the lines of like, don't put yourself in a position where you're owing money to anyone. Do whatever you can to get out of that. I know people have huge student loans, big things like that, where you're like, man, I am never gonna get out of this debt. You will get out of that debt. You have to create the discipline. And the thing is, the Lord blesses your obedience. When he sees that you're handling your money with obedience and putting it towards the things that he's called you to do, God might surprise you. You might sit down with your spouse, sit down by yourself, create a money plan. Like, okay, I can put $25 towards debt every single paycheck. By the time I'm done with this, I'll be done paying off debt by 2030, right? You're like, that seems ridiculous, but you never know. God will choose to bless your obedience. You never know the random blessing he can put in your way to help you pay off that debt faster. Use someone else to bless you, to pay off your debt. Sometimes he'll promote you within your job. The whole point of God and faith is that he is unknowing. Not our job to know his every single move. It's our job to trust and be obedient, go in with faith. He will do the rest. Talks about this in my videos. Make sure you are tithing. A lot of people want to close off at this point. This also goes along the lines of being obedient to him. God made it very specific that he wants our first. He wants that first 10% of all of our income. My heart has completely changed and my mindset has changed on why he called us to tithe. Okay, God doesn't want our money. He doesn't actually need our money. He's the provider. He doesn't need it from us. It's checking our heart to make sure our heart is in the right place. A good way to check your heart is to go in with that leap of faith and tithe the first 10% of your income, not after your bills, not after your priorities. This needs to be first priority. The thing I've learned about tithing, it's not actually you choosing to give him 10%. He has called that 10% his. We are just returning what already belongs to him. If we don't give that to him, we are essentially stealing from him. Biggest video going viral on my account right now is my testimony around when I was a single mom and I first decided to tithe. The way the Lord gave back was just incredible. And it's not about what I get, but he blesses obedience. He does not bless disobedience. Next thing I would do is make sure you are a cheerful giver. This is something he also calls us to be. It's so funny that a lot of the ways that God calls us to be obedient with our money has nothing to do with what we get in return. It has everything to do with us being able to be used for his kingdom, for his glory, when he calls us to do so. You feel like you're being called to give to somebody. Yes, we are called to give to the homeless. Yes, we are called to give to those less fortunate than us. But when you feel the Holy Spirit and you feel that the Lord is calling you to give above that, maybe to give to someone in your life who you know might have money, might not be struggling like that, but you know he's calling you to give anyway, be obedient. Don't second guess it. He's also checking to see your faith within this. Remember, giving and tithing are not the same thing. Giving is something that you do on top of your tithe. Giving is another test. When we feel called to give, are we stopping and second guessing? Yeah, I could pay for the person's meal who forgot their wallet at home, but I'm so hungry right now and I came here to get food for myself, so I can't do it. Yes, you can. You are choosing not to. This is not to call anyone out. This is just how we are as humans. It's in our sinful nature to want to only satisfy our needs and what we want, but that's what he's calling us to do.
That's also part of being obedient with your money and being disciplined with your finances. Let's talk about saving. And I'm not talking about saving in like in the big ways, like saving for a home, for your kids' colleges, saving for really big goals and long-term things like that. Those are still important. Those are still great. But in terms of creating habits for discipline, there is something that you really want. Like a new shoe. I don't know, literally anything that you know that you would want. I know you got some items saved on your Amazon list. I know you got some things saved in your TikTok shop. Nothing wrong with wanting something. But if it's not within your budget this paycheck, you only have $5 of fund money. For example, this item costs $50, and put aside your fund money every single paycheck until you reach that $50 and then buy that item that you want. Could just go ahead and buy it right when you get paid. But what discipline does that create? That creates absolutely no discipline for you. Saving for little things like this will teach you to save for really big things like this in the long run. That goes along with not giving in to your desires instantly, not serving yourself instantly. Practice saving habits in small ways like that. And if for some reason you finally save up that $50 over your few paychecks from your fund money, you're like, oh, I have the money now, when I actually don't even want it anymore. It's something that I've really learned that has helped me bringing God into every single one of my financial decisions. And it's like, okay, God, I have the money for this, but do you want me to buy this? And not feel the Holy Spirit telling you no. He might even give you that choice because he also does give us free will. If there's anything that I've learned about how good he is, his children who are obedient want to go above and beyond and showing out for him. You know what I mean? So if it's like, I don't want that item anymore, I'm going to put this $50 that I have just lying around towards my debt that I could be paying off. Even one step closer on top of what I already set aside budget-wise towards my debt. My last tips that I had to start using for myself is not just letting money go to waste. Made a video on this before too. For some reason, you're paying for a gym membership for anything really that you are not using, that money is going to waste. And I know people just say, cancel your subscription, cancel your membership. And you're like, okay, I did, but I really still am not saving any more money. That really didn't do anything. It's not doing something unless you let it do something. So if you're just spending that money, not putting that money that you canceled, the same amount that's pulling out monthly towards something else, put it towards your debt, put it towards your fund money if you really feel like you should, if you don't have anything else that you should be putting it towards. Don't just cancel things. Have a plan for every single dollar that's being pulled. And you are obedient to what he's calling you to do with your finances, he will give back. And I'm not just saying this because I've seen it in my own life, I've seen it in so many of my other friends' lives too, in their testimony of tithing, like in huge ways. You know, somebody who was called to give away their car, their only car that they had, somebody who was needing a car to get to work. It was something that they really wrestled with, felt like the Lord was calling them to do it, and they didn't want to be disobedient, and they did that, and somebody else happened to bless them with a brand new car. See what I mean? It's not about what we get back. It's that God literally has everything in control over your finances. I think you're giving away some huge sacrifice, and to him, he's like, that's so small. I can replace that or add even more to that. Practice being disciplined with your money, have a plan, be obedient to what he's calling you to do or what he's calling you to give, and just see what he does with your finances.
And that's how financial discipline becomes your superpower. Remember, wealth isn't built overnight. It's built every day through small, steady, disciplined decisions. If this helped you strengthen your money mindset, hit that like button, drop a comment with one discipline you're committing to this month, and subscribe to Profit Pulse for more practical money guidance. Want to see more videos like this? Click here to view my latest upload. This is Profit Pulse. Stay smart, stay steady, stay profitable.